Hi, and welcome to Stamp with Ginny. Today's project is this amazing colored glass that I created recently for my autumn flowers. Let me set this aside and we'll get started. Okay, you'll need a re-inker to start with, in this case Blackberry Bliss, a sponge brush applicator, and some acrylic paint. I'm using about half of my bottle, and I've added a couple of teaspoons of water to it to thin it out. I've poured half of the bottle into this little plastic container, added my re-inker. I simply pulled the nib off the top and poured it in. I've used almost a complete re-inker to get the color that I wanted here, and then I stirred it up well so that the color was distributed, and now I'm ready to begin. Now, as you can see, this gets kind of messy, so if that bothers you, you might want to use some plastic gloves. I've got my vase that I purchased at just a local retailer. It's an inexpensive vase, and you can use any vase really for this. And I'm going to pour my paint into it and then set my container to the side. And I am simply going to start by rolling this paint, I hope you can see this, down across the container. And if you can see these little streaks, that's where your sponge applicator comes in, if that bothers you. I'm going to kind of let that paint drip down and continue rolling. I'm going to bring my container back so that excess paint can be poured into it. And like I said, if these streaks bother you, you can smooth that color out with the paintbrush here. Kind of blend it as you go, so that it's a nice even color. And keep rolling until you're all the way to the end, and you can see it coming out the top of the vase here. And you might need to let it sit a little bit in one position so that you're getting that. And keep rolling, taking that brush, smoothing out those areas that have a little more color than others. And I'm going to add a little more paint to this since I'm running out close to the top here. This is a pretty big vase, as you can see, and I've used just half of the acrylic paint that came in that bottle. So you can imagine just how many containers you could make if you weren't doing such a large container. Okay, I'm almost done, and now that paint is kind of going around the outside edge. I hope you can see that. And basically what you're looking for is that paint to smoothly hit that edge. Take your paintbrush if you'd like to and kind of fill in those last spots, and then get some more paint to roll down that edge and smooth it out so that you don't have any streaks. And I'm actually going to do the top edge of this jar opening, or vase opening I should say, so that it's nice and smooth. And I can clean this excess off on the outside with the baby wipe. So I'm just going to turn this a little bit, make sure I've got all the color even and where I want it. And then once I've got that, I am going to allow the rest of the paint to drain out and then set it aside to dry. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, here's the finished product again. I've added a ribbon and some of our lovely autumn wooden elements from the holiday catalog. They're a lot of fun. If you'd like any of these products, feel free to stop by my online store. It's open 24/7, and you can get there from my blog, www.stampwithginny.com. Thanks for joining me.